Okay, so it's the third day of Cheltenham. Not quite as prestigious as the Cheltenham that used to be in Adelaide. Nonetheless, it's still a pretty big meeting if you're British. We're just going to jump. First off, we'll say hello to Martin and Stu.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
I'm okay, thank you. Not too bad. I suppose you're reasonably happy, are you, Stu, with all them wins you've had so far?
Yeah, getting another winner yesterday was pleasing, especially on the right ground. So no one can say it was just because it was firm the day before. So no, I was pleased with that. That's great. 3 winners, unbelievable.
Didn't you only win yesterday though because the other jockey stopped riding though? Was that not the reason you won that?
Well, there is a suggestion. No, I just think it ran out of steam. Couldn't go up the hill. That's the way. No, it did turn round, but let's be honest. Napoleon Grey was probably at that stage 7-8 lengths behind. And he still flew. Yeah,
and walked through the last as well. So I think it was a worthy win, and I think people who suggested that were probably just pulling your leg. I think it was.
Okay, I won't take it to heart.
It was a worthy winner. But what about these rumours that we heard that had Richie on the phone today, and he's thinking of moving half of his horses from Willie Mullins to you after the way you've gone this week?
Yeah, no, I've turned him down. I haven't got the space.
Alright, okay.
I don't like the suits he wears.
Right, okay. Well, that's probably interesting. What about you, Doug? Apparently, the last I heard from anybody yesterday, you were seen sort of trudging across Cheltenham looking for the oyster and champagne bar after your best horse fell. So
yeah, I really haven't had many run this carnival. Won the flat, all the jumps, and it's just it's pretty boring carnival for me, to be honest with you.
Just another week for you, Doug.
Yeah,
it's a bit of.
This third day it'll pick up more. I think there's a few more lower rated races on the hunt and on the flat. So
hopefully you'll save your best till last. Then I didn't do too bad with places on the first day, but absolutely awful yesterday. So it's definitely been Stu's been the star from the review show team. That's for sure. So feet back firmly on the ground, and we'll get on with today's races, shall we?
Right, so let's jump into race 26, and it's the St James Place Fox Hunters Chase. 3 mile, 2.5 furlong, and surprisingly I couldn't find a horse to go in this. So
under 100.
It just says open. I don't know what the rating
I think it was it not an 0 to 100, I think.
Yeah, this is the Hunter, isn't it? So the Hunter Chase is always not. Basically, in real life, this is the Amateur Jockey's Gold Cup. So I suppose the closest thing we could get to doing that is to have a 0 to 100 race, which is good. So it's
I actually like this. I'm just looking through the trainers here. F1 Folis, Daniel French, Alex Sherry, David Robinson, Colin Clark, Martin, Carl Aragante, Sirius Chill, Stu, Jamie Hopkins, Darren Howes, Martin Cairns. Just one of the big trainers.
That's a nice mid to low, and they're all, okay, there's, £14 in the handicap, 96 is top, so £20 the handicap, but that gives Carl Aragante a chance with his Tasmanian Angel.
Yeah, it means they're all in the handicap proper, aren't they? Which is really good. Should be a good race, I would think.
I noticed you say if it completes the course, it'll win, Martin, on yours. You're that confident?
Well, it should do, because it's a double Gold Cup winner at home, and I was going to put it in the Gold Cup until I realised I could get it in this, and I thought, if I can get it in this one, I might as well put it in this one. So there's just one or two things that could happen to it. It could either walk straight through one, which it has a tendency to do, or the other week it was going really well, and then it just suddenly got pulled up. So that's why I've put, if it completes the course, it'll win. I can't see it finishing 5th, 6th or 7th. It'll either win or not finish, I think. But the week I'm having, who knows? I mean, some of those ones on day one ran out of their skin, and I could, with a bit more luck, I could have had 3 winners on the first day. I certainly got 3 or 4 placed, and yet the ones that I've fancied this week have done nothing at all. So who knows?
Yeah, no, it's strange.
Just been looking through the form. Got Stretford that's pulled up, and Girata that's at a fall and pulled up, down to the Maze, pulled up, Tasmanian Angel pulled up, Loyal Royal pulled up, Billid pulled up, slowly unseated the rider, Hardy King pulled up, Desert Sea unseated the rider and fell. So a lot of these horses,
there's only a couple of us. Yeah, Chowhoo Cakewalk and that turned starboard.
Yeah, could turn into a cakewalk for Cakewalk, couldn't it, really? They're the only...
It's a good mark for a David Robertson horse as well as Colin Clark's even better mark off 89 for that Chowhoo done. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to go for turn starboard for Daniel French. Only run twice. Could be anything. Yeah,
that's not a bad call, is it, that? Because that's probably the only sort of unexposed horse in the race. It's tempting looking down the bottom and seeing a Martin Keynes horse rated 70. I think he's pretty good normally, but it's failed to complete.
It's got a fifth in there, hasn't it?
It's got a fifth, but it's also got 2 failed to complete the courses, which the way things have been going this week, they've been falling like nobody's business, haven't they?
There was 13. I mean, there was 13 pull-ups yesterday compared to I think 4 on day one. I agree, day one there was hardly any longer distance races, but 13 yesterday was a lot. Mm-hmm. If we'd hit 13 each day, which we couldn't do because obviously the third day's only got 5 races, we could have hit the 40 mark, but it looks like I was probably around about 25, I think, by the end of the day.
Probably had more fallers than pull-ups this time, which is a bit of a surprise. So, yeah, it's difficult to know what to go for. I'm going to go for Zhao Dun because Colin Clark is pretty good, and that's getting a bit of weight from the top, not giving too much weight away from the rest. Looks like it's completed the course every time it's run, and I'll have that one.
Yeah, and just going through some form guide here. I'm going to go with David Robinson's Cakewalk, and I'm just looking at the form here. It's ran 5th 4 times, so 5th in a maiden chase, so that obviously is not bad form. 5th in the Desert Orchid Handicap, and Lincolnshire National, and the Surrey National. So I imagine they're probably all lower rated races. So I'm going to stick with Cakewalk.
Okay, good choice. Then we go to the Martin Pipe, which is 2 mile 4 handicap hurdle. I think this is open anyway, wasn't it? You could get anything in this, although the highest rated horse is only 136, so maybe it's a 140.
Yeah, I think this is a 140, a big field as well.
Yeah, a lot of runners.
I don't even know why. I've got a runner on this, I've got no idea why I put it in.
Where did that name come from, Doug? Tamima? Do you know somebody called Tamima?
Nope, that was just one of the game-generated names.
Oh, okay.
From memory, yeah. So that's all sprinkled. The word Tamima is sprinkled throughout my breeding and variations of it. Mima, I use that as well.
Okay.
A few horses. So.
It's a big field. Who's going to go first on this?
You can go, Stu.
Oh, you're going to let me go first? Gee. Yeah. Well, there's quite a bit of form at the top. There's quite a bit of form at the top, isn't there? And the way Josh has been going, he had a fantastic day yesterday. It was, 5 wins, a couple of seconds. Trifon, but I'm going to go a little bit further down. I think a little bit of weight will be required. And I'm going to go for Gladiana for Thunderspark. Doesn't have a great deal of form compared to some of the others, but I think Thunder's always got reasonably good horses. 120 seems quite low for him.
Yep, and as a handicap, so that might actually suit it. Yeah, and sometimes when you got that nice balance of weight pull, can make a big difference in these handicaps. Sometimes I think it actually, some of the horses up the top of a handicapped by it.
It's always tricky when you get caught by that. I feel sorry for Jim. Jim's had a good week compared to some of his rest of the season. He's had a really unlucky week. Maybe he'll win this.
I'll tell you what, you'd have got really good odds down the old Ladbrokes or somewhere if you'd have gone in last week and you said, what price will you give me Stu Gray having more winners than Jim Murray at Cheltenham?
Oh, you would have done, yeah. No, well, let me think.
Should be retired.
Well, it's between Josh and Leon for the most winners, I think, unless Paul picks up a couple of extras today. I think they're the two that are leading champion trainer of the festival.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Mont Aguila, Darren Thompson.
Mm.
He had a poor day yesterday, didn't he, as well, compared to his first day?
Yeah, the wins have been reasonably well spread out, haven't they? Really, quite a few people have had a few run well. Even the ones that haven't had wins have had decent sort of runs. A couple of the newbies have been up there and thereabouts a few times as well, which is good to see. Keeps everybody interested. I think this is between the two at the bottom of the handicap proper, which is around the 212 horses, Sunfire Burner and Hit the North. And Leon van Rensburg's Hit the North just about gets my vote.
Yeah, I was looking at that as well.
Yeah, look at the Sunfire Burning for Moylets, though. I mean, he's had a couple of winners so far. And that looks quite nice, coming into a bit of form.
Yeah, and also, don't forget...
last time out.
Moylets might get suspended, though, because he had his horse ran twice yesterday, so he's been hauled up in front of the stewards later on this week. One of a few people that are going to be called in.
How does that happen?
Well, I really wouldn't like to say
it was a manual entry.
Inquiries have been done, because we don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Yeah,
because
I could have got a second in Pertemps if I hadn't run in that.
I don't think anything
Not
was...
greedy.
I don't think anything was done maliciously. I think it was just an accident. But it's
Just cheapskate.
it was quite amusing because I was watching a race and I thought, I'm sure that horse has run once already today, and everybody's going to me, no, it hasn't. It's a different one. Even the bloke that commentated on it didn't realise to start with that he'd already run twice. And
who would that be then?
I can't remember. He's just this bloke kept going on about how many winners he'd had. Any idea who that might have been, Doug? Was it you?
No idea. Obviously, someone who's had a fair few winners.
That rolls you and me.
How many has he had?
I don't know, about 4, I think, isn't it? Is it 4 or 3?
No, it's 3. 3 and had a flat winner as well this week.
What does 3 and 1 come to?
4.
Which is what I said in the first place. 3 on the jumps and 1 on the flat. Anyway.
Okay, go on then. Have we picked?
Yeah, I've done it, yeah. I've hit the north.
All right, well, let's move on then. To race 28, the penultimate at Cheltenham, the Grand Annual Handicap Chase. 2 mile cavalry charges, fair few in this as well.
Yeah, and this is the race that started it all off back in 18 whatever it was, which was the race that started the Cheltenham Festival off altogether. This was, and it used to be run at a different course every year. And then eventually somebody decided that jump racing needed a headquarters. And it was a bloke called Cathcart. There used to be a race called the Cathcart at the end of the meeting. It's called something else now. I can't remember which one it is. It used to be called the Cathcart. But then when he sort of took the meeting over, he sort of decided they were going to have this grand annual handicap chase at Cheltenham every year, and they built a festival around it. So even though it's tagged away right at the end of day 3, it's the last sort of official real race of the festival. Technically speaking, it's the most important, really, because the Gold Cup didn't turn up for quite some time after that.
Okay, there's a double entry race as well, hence the big field.
So, what do you like in this one, Martin?
I don't know who's making all that rustling noise, but that's going to be really good fun to do on the editing.
What, Russ? No, get away. What, that noise there? You can hear that?
Yeah, that is coming up really bad.
Adds a bit of atmosphere.
Yeah. Doing a bit of sheep rustling.
This is a big field as well, isn't
Almost looks like a good race for Stu to win.
it? It does, doesn't it?
Don't think so. Though aerospace right at the bottom, I am surprised how poor he's been with a load of duck eggs. So you never know, maybe. There's some better horses in here than mine.
This is an odd number race, isn't it? So you'll be commentating on this one. This is why.
Yeah, no, it's my last commentary of the Cheltenham Festival.
This is why I haven't studied it very much, because I've not had to look at it. Sunrise Soul for me, Molliet Surfer. I think he's probably just going to get touched off in that other race before, but I think he'll win this one.
Okay.
That's if it hasn't run already.
Yeah, no, it did really well for running 2 races on the same day at Cheltenham. Got an engine on it.
Like going back 100 years.
Okay, hard one. I mean, not everybody's got a couple in here. I'm trying to think if any of the top boys have got a couple. Maybe we go for Graham. Graham's got to have a bit of luck. He's got 2 in there. Jupiter Moon's only run 3 times. Quite a nice mark. I'm going to go for Jupiter Moon for Graham.
Yeah, I was thinking of a Graham one as well. You know, Martin Cairns, he had a big meeting last week or the week before, and now he's had a pretty quiet one, hasn't he? So
yeah, that Lord of the Isles at the bottom of the handicap.
Yeah,
Looks a bit sneaky.
doesn't it? Even Serious Jewel, you know, he's spoken for. He's got some okay form. He's always capable. So no, I'm gonna go with Gray as well, but I'm gonna go with Coven.
Oh, we both give him the kiss of death. They'll probably fall at the 3rd. Sorry, Gray.
The 2nd and the 3rd.
One will take the other one out to dinner. Well, that moves us nicely on to the Paul Moores then, the last race, the big 4 mile 4 grade 1. Got something to say about this one, Martin?
No, not really.
I can't pick Ettrick Mill with all those PPPFPs.
It's a difficult race for me to talk about this because I'm
Just talk about it.
just for a second. I'm trying to be sensible. I'm not trying to be sort of funny or trying to make any points. I'm saying it's a difficult race for me to talk about because I do realise, having gone back through the history of the league, just how much this race means to a lot of people because it's named after this Paul Moores chap who was a big player in the league early on and did lots of good stuff. And so it's a nice thing to put a race in the Cheltenham Festival.
Well, as much as he's sadly no longer with us either.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to come to that in a minute. Personally, I think it's the wrong week of the season to have it because the week before the Grand National, it's almost a bit strange to have a race over exactly the same trip the week before. Maybe it would be better if it was sort of like at the same sort of time as the King George a bit earlier in the year. I don't know, because there's that many other sort of long distance racing around this time. It gets a fairly small field, and quite a few people are frightened to enter anything in it because they're worried that they're going to get a huge leap in the weights before the National next week. So it might get a better field if it was earlier on in the year or a different week, but I guess that it's probably because it's the Cheltenham Festival and you probably like the Cheltenham Festival so much, so that's probably why they do it.
I can't see why we couldn't just have a race where there's just no penalty. You know, like maybe this is a race where you just go, look, it's a memorial race for a key player and starters orders. It's a Group 1. So it's all set weights. Maybe it needs to be a handicap, but anyway, maybe it just has to be. There's no penalty. Whatever the race does.
Yeah, true. Or even race it after the National, the week after, because then you would bound to get the National winner in it, aren't you?
Yeah, you could do. I mean, it's one of those difficult things, isn't it? Because it's one of those things that it's sort of like sacrosanct, isn't it? So you can't change your touch because you might upset people and all that sort of stuff. So it's difficult, but I don't think from a race point of view it does the race any favours being this week. Cause I think you'd get a better field if it wasn't the week before the Grand National. Having said that, it doesn't really make that much difference, does it? Because the top weight in the Grand National is going to be so hard that everything will be out of the handicap anyway. So if you win this and you go up £40, it won't really make any difference. Because you'll still be running out the handicap next week. Everybody, I presume when you said to me to talk about this race, you meant about Ettrick Mill. Everybody seems to think that this Ettrick Mill is a wonder horse. The first week of the season, there was only one 4 mile maiden, right? The first week of the season, I got 2 4 milers at the start of the year: Ettrick Mill and Fine Kingdom. Fine Kingdom was my best 4 miler. It won all the trial races against Ettrick Mill. Ettrick Mill was a second string. So the first week of the season, there was only one race you could get on in. I ran Fine Kingdom and it ran okay. Couldn't get Ettrick Mill anywhere. The second week of the season, there were 2 opportunities because I think by that week there was a one of those Paul Moore's handicaps, I think, qualifiers. So obviously Fine Kingdom had run, so it could go in that. Ettrick Mill could go in the maiden, and somehow, unbelievably, it won. It didn't win by very far, but it won. The next week, I could get them both in again. Now I put Ettrick Mill in the one that was a group race. I don't even think I even noticed which one was the group race and which one was the handicap. I don't know. I'd probably put Ettrick Mill in the group race because it got a bigger weight. Unbelievably, it managed to win that as well, which meant it then got an astronomical weight and has been weighted out of every single race. It's not any chance of running for the entire season, apart from races that are too short for it, or even obviously hurdle races are too short for it because you don't get 4 mile hurdle races. It's not that good, and everybody seems to think that it's some sort of superstar. If it wins this, it will be a miracle. I know I have put in there in my notes the only danger is a race kit as it gets behind it, but it's not. I don't think it's going to win at all, and I might not even run it in the Grand National next week because I've got 2 others that I think might be better, and I just don't know whether the third one's going to qualify. So we'll have to wait and see. So I don't know. But Ettrick Mill's not going to win this at all. Really, it's not that good. It'll probably pull up.
What are you going for then?
I don't know. I mean, looking at this, as I just said before, there's quite a lot of dodgy form in this race. Considering it's a Group 1, there's a lot of falls and pull-ups and unseated riders and stuff. And has Thunderspark had a winner yet this week?
Yeah, he won on day 1, didn't he?
Did he?
I don't think he won yesterday. I'd have to bring up my notes, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he got a winner on day 1.
You'd think about his horse in that, but it don't half wallop a fence, that one. It's fell at least once this season when it's been clear in the lead. The same with Carl Arrogante's Navigable River, that's done that as well. Beyond the Wall fell last time. Nail Trail's fallen, but has got some reasonable form. The only one that isn't doing any falling is The Long Goodbye.
And Comanche, 2 bookends.
Yeah, but
Comanche's been waiting for that Group 1.
Yeah, but you know what will happen, Stu, if Comanche wins this race, don't you? It's on 70 at the moment. If it wins, it'll go up to 150, and then you'll be top weight in the National.
No, it's funny enough, he's really a 4 mile horse, but I uploaded him and entered him wrong right at the beginning. So I was really waiting just for a G1 to put him in. He probably won't get round, but he does usually do 4 miles. I just messed it up at the beginning. Stable, but I doubt if he'll finish.
Alright, so I suppose I've got to pick one, really, after all that. Difficult to say, really, but I think we'll probably have to get it on the side of The Long Goodbye. Everything sort of points to that one being the best horse in the race.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go the same on Goodbye. You look at it, there's it's the only one with stable form besides Stu's horse. Like some of these other horses could trounce it, but it's just a matter of will it stay on its feet?
That's
or
right, and we
pulled up.
do seem to have seen quite a lot of fallers this week. I don't know whether you two both think the same. I seem to have commentated on a lot of fallers, not more than usual.
Yeah, you had a lot yesterday. There was a lot yesterday. I've not had that many, to be truthful with you. I think in most comms, it was only, I think the most I've had is about 3 in any of my races.
Right.
I haven't done overly long ones. A couple of 3 milers at the beginning, but the rest have all been 2.5. I think I've got a 4 today. That's about it. But no, if I had to pick one, I'm going to go for Leon with Beyond the Wall. So yeah, no, that fall, just bad luck. A couple of thirds prior to that. I only joined in that.
In the window, probably.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the sort of thing that Leon would aim for this, I imagine. It's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's £500,000.
It's a smart pick.
So hopefully I'll be right.
Mm.
Well, that's Cheltenham then.
Well, no, it's
No,
not. We haven't done the big race yet, the most important race of the whole meeting.
Oh, yeah, that one at the beginning.
I'm pretty sure that Gray isn't going to start day 3 of the live stream with the Gold Cup. Obviously, with it being 12 races a day, it's skewed everything round a bit. I would suggest, if I'm allowed to make any suggestions, that next season you have 10 Cheltenham races a day, and then 2 of the odd races added on at the end of each day, and that'll balance up quite nicely. Then with 10, 10, and 9, and you can have the SO6 races on the end of day 1, and you can have the Sea Pigeon and the Fakenham race at the end of day 2, and the Somerset and National and the Midlands National at the end of day 3, and then you've got a more balanced sort of thing then. So we've left
something for the lower trainers as well, because they would
so we've left
per
the
day rather than the Cheltenham.
Cheltenham Gold Cup to talk about until last, because we're pretty sure it'll be the last race today that gets shown in the live bit. So it's a huge field, isn't it?
Yeah, it is
It's all
huge.
huge, and the ratings are, although the top one's 175, the ratings are healthy right the way through. It's one of the most evenly rated races I've seen on the hunt. So
No, it's massive. But I think Fort Lauderdale win. I'm coming straight out with it. I think Fort Lauderdale will win it by a country mile. I like that horse. I think it was unlucky last week, just bad conditions or whatever. Bad behaviour is very good, but I still think they're probably the 1-2. I don't think anything else will get into it. It's my personal opinion.
Right, so
Which is what we're doing.
straight in there with that then, and no messing about or sort of like discussing anything else. Just straight in and tell them what you think. That's it then.
Messing me.
What about you, Doug? You got any ideas?
I'm going to go for bad behaviour. Straight in there. It's got soft. It likes the soft ground, or softish. So yeah, I like it. 6-year-old.
It would be boring to go for the same as you two, and it would be probably just a little bit too boring to go for Spiral Core as well, so we'd have the top 3 core between the 3 of us then, wouldn't we? Could be some hard luck stories in this race, couldn't there, with 30 runners in it, especially if you got ones that
There will be.
that like being held up at the back. They're gonna have trouble getting through, and there's going to be some going really, really wide as well. There'll probably be a few people having a bit of a moan if they get trapped out a little bit, and if we see a few fallers as well, like we have done earlier this week. I think we can safely rule out the bottom half dozen. I don't think they've got much of a chance.
Graham, keep ruling out my horse, Graham K. At your peril. I don't think I will do very well with it.
No, I think yours is probably the last one that's in there with a chance. I think my one, Strands of Gold, and everything down from that are the other ones that are really the ones that probably should have been diverted into the Hunter Chase, so that we'd have had a 24 on a field in this and 6 extra ones in the Hunter, which would have been interesting. But that's a different thing for a different idea, for a different day, for different people to worry about. Jim Murray hasn't had a very good Cheltenham, so maybe he's going to come good and win a Gold Cup.
That would be nice.
Heatherbridge Girl I'm going for.
Okay. That's not a bad choice. It would, if it's outside of the Joshua's and Paul's and Leon's, it would make the competition a little bit more exciting. As if it's one of those 3, most of the top people in the competition have covered those main trainers.
We haven't.
Take the 20 points would be good.
We haven't spoken about your competition today. How's that going? Who's the leading protagonists going into the final day?
Well, on points, it's actually our John Morgan, which, he obviously won it last year, funny enough. Slightly, like I said, it was a different format, but he just leads by 5 points from Steve Rann, who's not even got a horse in the hunt. And then Kevin Minahan's come from nowhere and he's in 3rd. They're about 10, 15 points between the three. Doug, you've fallen down to fourth. You're 40
Still
points.
there, matey.
You are still there, mate.
Yeah,
You're
he's
40
striking.
points from. You are. And then Jamie Hopkins has done really well, and Daniel, who can't have the prize anyway, even if he did win.
Why can't he? Why can't he win his own prize?
Well, we agreed that he couldn't.
I don't see why he shouldn't be allowed to win his own prize.
Oh, Daniel agreed that he didn't want to win his own prize.
Well,
he
he
would
could
enter,
have
but not win.
put it back up.
He's not going to win anyway. He'd have to have 330 to 390, 60 points. I'd have to. It'd all be the double. I can't believe how many people picked me. So virtually half of the big team have got all these double points. Mad.
Yeah, it is all a bit crazy. And you look at it as well. You're the two people at the top.
Well, you're a Jew, mate.
The two people at the top, you got John Morgan, who's not playing anymore, and then you got Steve Rann, who don't even do jumping and doesn't even watch it half the time because he don't like it. So
It's all
a bit
of luck.
it's all a bit upside down and backwards. Cheltenham, I suppose, but that's it. Over for another season, and the competition doesn't count for the races after, does it?
It doesn't. It's just the 5 of today, so there's not a lot of points to be had.
Right, so it's looking like it's going to be. It could well be going the John Morgan way then. So that'll be that. Got any more chances today, Stu? Do you think?
No, I like Graham Kay, but only if it'd have to have a perfect run round, to be honest with you. And to be truthful, people like Fort their bad behaviour and all those would have to fall. Yeah, but you never know, it could happen. It'd be nice to win a third, to win one each day, but let's be honest, I'm just being greedy now.
I think if anybody had said to you at the beginning of the week you'd have had one, you'd have took it, wouldn't you?
I would have done, but now I want more.
Yeah, that's good. It's good.
You got the taste.
Good to be ambitious. Yeah. That's what you.
No, I'm going for next year. My hunt team. Watch out.
Right. Well, I suppose you've got the national next week as well, haven't you? So you could well win that. And are we going to do a pin stickers guide for that next week, like we have done for the last couple of seasons?
Yeah, I think so. Just concentrate on the one race because it's a fair bit to get through it. So
yeah, sounds like a good idea. I'm not sure what day it is next week. Is it on day 1 or day 2 or day 3? I'm not sure. So that's the festival done then for another season, and we all had a good time. I'll speak to you both next week.
Yeah, that's great.
no worries.
And we'll see everybody else next week as well.
Cool. See you, Martin.
See you later.
Bye.